Hey folks, Dr. Rowe, hope you are all well. I wanted to send you a message as we head into 2021, as I'm recording this, about angel funding. And those of you that are watching who are in the field of professional property investing, as you know, it's one of my passions and one of the areas that I teach, and that is not just property investing, but raising money for your property business. So I can't give you financial advice. This is not intended to be financial advice, just know that caveat. But I want to talk about some things that I found over the years help in the process. Now, those of you that are coming forward and joining me at CWI, which is Communicating with Impact, the virtual event, which is on the 28th, by the way, the 28th of February next year. I haven't got the link below, but if you want to go and have a look, it's on Seekardo.com. That's www.seekardo, Seekardo, Seekardo.com. Then you will find information there. Now, on that note, here's what I want to say to you. If you're looking to raise money for your property investing, there's 4 things you need to be aware of. First of all, I want to say this: don't ever be desperate. Before I get to my 4 things, don't be desperate. Make sure you focus on primarily looking to help people. I think for many people, the challenge, of course, is that they're nervous about approaching somebody. And actually, this is a fantastic time. The banks are performing really badly. Most people are frustrated with where things are going. It's not looking like it's going to get any better at the moment, not in the foreseeable future. We're seeing fixed rate mortgages being locked very low, out for 5 years or more in some cases. They're all kind of indicators that the banks aren't expecting massive changes in interest rate changes. And of course, that means for savers, it ain't working for them, full stop. So a couple of things to be aware of, and let me just do this for you now. I'm going to pull this up if I can find it. I made some notes here for you. All right, 4 things. Number 1, don't go just chasing around people. Sometimes it's so easy when we're passionate, enthusiastic, to just try and grab everybody. I'll go, yeah, well, right, do you want to lend me some money? Do you want to lend me some money? That's not really the best approach. What I found is if you go into a conversation with a broad stroke conversation, just generally about how things are going at the moment, talk about the market, talk about government announcements, bring and steer the conversation towards interest rates and how bad it must be for savers and those people that have been in a career all their lives and worked, and we were sold this dream when we were young. We need to go out and work hard, put our money in savings, let it stay there. At some point in the future, we can hopefully use it towards a nest egg, or it is our nest egg. Anyone like that is going to say to you, yeah, but look at the interest rates, they're not performing. Allow the conversation to be broad enough so that as you start it, you then back out of the conversation a little bit to allow them to fill the space in that conversation and then direct it. So number 2 is see what response they give you, and then from their response, look for the potential hooks that you know you can steer them on. Now, from a Communicating with Impact perspective, this is a combination of you and them. Now, there's 3 components in Communicating with Impact. There's you, them, and there's the environment. So we'll keep the environment out for a minute. I want to talk to them, and I'm dropping specific messages in there. So component number 2 is essentially looking for, well, the first 3 components involve preparation, your outcome, and your message. So in those first 3 components, what I want to make sure I'm doing is I know what my outcome is, but I'm dropping in messages into the conversation in such a way that it hooks them and they lean forward, because part of my message is getting their interest. It's identifying their pain. It's letting them know that things aren't good at the moment if you just got your money sat in the bank, which most people are aware of. So then I listen, and as soon as they say certain things, I direct them. I want to move towards the you, which is the you is getting a connection, creating an impact, and then influencing the people. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, is they can't influence them. So when I do CWI, for example, we go through these stages and I show people how to sweep somebody in to that process of connection, impact, and influence. And now you can make your offer to them. If you jump too early, you haven't got influence, you haven't got impact, you're not going to grab their attention, you're not going to win them over. So by listening, I can direct them in the right place. So if they're talking about banks not performing, I take my conversation down that route. If they talk to me about equity in the house being stuck doing nothing, I take the conversation down that route. If they talk to me about the fact they've just recently inherited some money from a death in the family, then the conversation can go down a different route. So I don't want to give them a standard templated conversation. I want them to share that with me. And I'm looking for something in their language that suggests there's a problem. Frustrated, we don't know what to do with the money. It's been sat there for 3 years in a bond. The bond ends this year. It's been making us like 1% a year. Okay, we want to go on holiday, but we can't because of COVID. But even when we do, and when COVID releases, we won't have the money to do it because the interest rates are so low now. Okay, so I've got a solution for that. So I'm looking and I'm listening. And the whole point here is I don't want to get greedy. So the first 3 there are very relaxed. You don't even, you could press the pause after 3 and just go, okay. And I sometimes, if especially I'm rushed for time, or if I don't feel this is the appropriate place to have the conversation, like a social gathering, a phone call, you're busy, there's a lot of noise going on around you, which is the environmental factor of the communicate with impact, by the way. You got to be there. Do not, sorry, I'm super pumped. You probably gathered this. I can't stop talking about it with people. It's like communicate with impact virtual. Can you believe it? We're taking it live online, which means I can do work with people online. You're going to see me do coaching, bring people up on a microphone, but on a virtual environment. It's going to be freaking amazing. You have to be at that event. It's the first one ever online. It's going to be mega. Anyway, enough of my promotion. Go to the website, Seekardo.com, and go and look up CWI virtual event. So the first 3 there are just gathering, and I'm gonna go, you know what? Number 3, I'm gonna say, I think I might have something that would be of interest to you. I'm too busy right now, or obviously you're too busy right now. There's a lot of noise and distraction around us at the moment. How about we set up a time and I talk to you about an opportunity that might actually be able to pay for that holiday you mentioned, or get your money working harder than it is in the bank, etc., etc. And I leave a massive hook there for them to go, ouch, a massive carrot out there. And then when I start to set this up, I don't want to be greedy. And you might say to me, well, I want to make as much as I can. I understand that, but I want people to want to come back to me and give me the money again for another 12, 18, 24 months. So I don't want to be greedy. So I want to get a sense of what they want and what I'm prepared to give up. In other words, what can I give them? If I'm going to make 18% return on a project over there, and I've got 3 people in front of me, one wants 10, one wants 7, and one wants 4. Ideally, I want to work with the person with 4. Yeah, if I'm going to make 38 or 48 or 58% return on investment, I might be happier to give up a higher return over here to somebody else. But I just don't want to get too greedy with this. So I want to make sure that everybody wins in the process moving forward. So find out what it is they want, find out what kind of return they'd like to get and what they'd like to receive, and then work on the basis that you're more likely to build a longer relationship if you give them a little bit more than they're expecting than if you just barely give them what they were looking for. And again, that comes down to a personal choice that you have. But I think if you look into the next year, which as I'm recording this is 2021, there's going to be a lot of people frustrated out there. And if you can show them how to beat the bank, if you can show them how their money can be put into opportunities where it's an asset rather than the stock market where they might be nervous with, or it might be they're nervous with putting money into an internet business, but you as a property investor are happy to invest it there, fantastic. It might be that they are a trader and that they trade the market, which is a fantastic strategy, but they have some spare liquid here and they don't want to put any more in, so they want to diversify. So you can talk to them about diversifying. But it has to be a win-win, and this is what I've discovered over the years. And if you come from it from that perspective and you're less desperate, your energy, your attitude and your mindset changes the way theirs changes. In other words, as they start to see that you're somebody that's genuine and honest, you'll find that you get into this synchronistic harmony with them. And often people will open up and go, well, I know you're looking for 40k, but I've actually got more than that in the bank, having spoken to you. I think if I spoke to my husband and my wife, we could probably lend you more. Okay, great. And then you sit down and you go through the numbers with them. So that's it. Think about that as we move into the next year. There's going to be a lot of people that want their money to work harder, but you can't go out like a pit bull terrier and just go straight for the jugular. You kind of got to do it in stages. And that's where we start with a broad conversation and narrow down, and then boom, then we have the conversation. Okay, hopefully that was useful. We'll see you on the next live.